knowledge of Baqir, the honesty of Sadiq, the patience of Qalim, the kindness of Rida, the generosity of Jawad, the dignity of Hadi, and the wisdom of Hasan al-Askari, salawat. Where are you? For how long must I wait for the Gharib? For how long must I have you in my memories? For how long must I wait for your arrival? For how long must I await for the final? For how long must humanity deteriorate? For how long must trees desecrate? For how long must children die? For how long must you cry? For how long must I advocate your name? For how long must I wait for our light? For how long must I chant your name every day and night? For how long must I continue to overwrite? For how long? But where am I? How many lessons from you have I applied? How many times have I ignored you as my guide? How many times have I made sins unjustified? How many times have I strayed away of my own accord? How many Fridays have gone by that I have ignored? How many times have I looked at you as my reward? How prepared am I for you when I don't even recognize you? So maybe it's time to say, where am I? And not where are you? Just as the Prophet said to follow the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, I must follow them too. Applying the Quran's message, an essential thing to do. Following the Ahlul Bayt, another one too. Perfecting my akhlaq is a requirement, for this was the reason our Prophet came, to protect the people from the flame of hellfire. And only then will I be prepared for you. Salawat.
Thank you so very much, Sister Sarah, for the beautiful poetry. Please recite aloud salawat for Sister Sarah and her family. MashaAllah, I think everybody enjoyed that. We are so privileged to have the presence of Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin, Seyyed Abbas Razavian, with us. Inshallah, we'll be benefiting from his presence and his knowledge, wisdom in this center and also in Southern California in general. Inshallah, we are planning to have a lot of new educational programs for everybody, especially for the youth, for children, and also some community service that our communities need. So inshallah, stay tuned about news that about the new programs that inshallah will be offered here. Of course, it will take time, and we need your help as well. So any of you who can contribute by any means, if you can teach certain things, if you have certain capabilities, certain ideas, if you can support financially, whatever you can do, I would really appreciate it. So come talk to me, come talk to Seyyed, Sister Musawi, any of us, if you have any suggestions, comments. And we really need everyone, likes of Sister Sarah, likes of Brother Kayvan, Brother Qasim, Brother Mehrdad, Brother Ali, Haj Mustafa, everyone, the sisters, everyone. So we need all of you to, inshallah, join hands and help us out to inshallah, try to, fulfill our oath, and inshallah to help use all of the resources that we have here, and also pay our dues and duties, inshallah, to the Imam of our time, inshallah. So without any further delay, let's welcome our speaker for the night, Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin, Seyyed Abbas Razavian, with your loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى يوم الدين. Congratulations for the waladat of Imam Al-Askari alayhi salam. Many of us are parents here, and imagine when you think about having a child and thinking about what type of child you'll raise, you're concerned. And you're always anticipating or dreaming of having a son or daughter that will be a good person. Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam, I think when I thought about this while we were coming here, that he fulfills this the most, that he is the father of Imam Mahdi Ajallah Farajah, how the sister mentioned too in the poetry, that he is the one that caused Imam Mahdi to be born. And this is for us very important. One, it is important because he is the father of our holy Imam. He is the father of the savior of mankind. So do you think that Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajah will be indifferent when you talk about his father? When we, ourselves, somebody praises our parents, speaks good about our parents, how happy do we get? If somebody disrespects our parents, how upset do we get? Right? So Imam Mahdi Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajah, I am sure there is a lot of inayat and attention from the Imam of the age to his father. Actually, I believe, I was in Samarra a few months ago, and I believe Samarra, besides being the shrines of the Askariyin, Imamain al-Askariyin alayhi salam, that it is a place that Imam Mahdi visits a lot. I'm sure of this. Because Imam taught us to visit the graves of your parents. Can they visit? Can they say something that they do not do themselves? Do you not think that Imam Mahdi will stop visiting the shrine, the grave of his parents, Imam Askari salam and Lady Nargis Khatun? And that is why some of our ulama, they have spent a lot of time in Samarra and Sardab and Samarra, and it is one of the places they go to meet Imam Mahdi Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajah. Because of that connection of Samarra to Imam Mahdi. Some have gone there, like Sheikh Nukhudaki. They ask him, I believe, they ask him and they come to him and they say, why is it that your speech is so effective? What did you do that your speech is so effective? It affects, sometimes mujtahids would come to his speeches. An arif, an alim, that's buried in the shrine of Imam Rida. And finally, he mentioned, because they asked him so much, that once I was in Samarra, the shrine of Imam Askari, shrine of Imam Hadi, and he says that Arabs have this tradition that when you sit on the rug of their father and swear by the rug of their father, they'll grant you what you want. So I sat in Samarra, the shrine of Imam Askari alayhi salam, Imam Hadi, and I asked Imam Zaman, by the rug of his father. There it is said that he stayed the entire night. They went to close the shrine and he stayed there to the entire night. And he had tasharruf. He met Imam Mahdi. Meeting Imam Mahdi, there's in books, Najm al-Thaqib is full of them, 100 and something occurrences of people that have met Imam Mahdi. He recorded it in the book. Those that say they have a connection to Imam Mahdi, that's forbidden. But there is a tasharruf for many people, pious people, scholars. Many people have met Imam Mahdi. Many of us have possibly even seen him, but have not been able to identify him. So he saw he had tasharruf, and he asks, the Imam comes and asks him, what do you want, basically? And he says, your health. Imagine what we would say if we met Imam Mahdi. What do you want? He said, your health. Again, what do you want? He said, your health. What do you want? Your health. And he says, I will grant you something. You don't ask, but I will grant you something. And I grant you knowledge. So the knowledge of Shaykh Khodaki, they say, came from Imam Mahdi Ta'ala Faraj. That is knowledge. That is ma'rifat. We want this type of knowledge that comes from the Imams. That knowledge is nur. As we say, kalamukum nur, Ahlul Bayt alayhi wasallam. Your speech is nur. So there is this connection between Samarra, and in some of the traditions say, as An-Nahiya Al-Muqaddasa, the protected zone, and Imam Mahdi Ajjallahu Ta'ala Faraj. So pay attention, inshallah, tonight. When you're mentioning, inshallah, listening, mention salawats under your breath. If you have a tasbih, mention salawat. It is a very majlis of nur, inshallah. Because we talked about how to gain light. You gain light from who? Khalaqakumullah anwaran. That those that Allah has created as light. You get light and nur from them. Because His Son will be the one that exits and causes everyone from dhulamat to go into nur. From many multiple darknesses into one light, as the Quran says. Dhulamat is plural, but light is nur, because Sirat al-Mustaqim is one. Another reason why we talk about Imam Askari alayhi salam, and it is important, is because the level of knowledge that we have about this holy Imam is limited. When you look at our communities and you ask them, how much do you know about Imam Askari alayhi salam? Tell me how much you know. Tell me about his hadith. Tell me about his life. How much do we know? So it's very important, and I stress the fact that we talk about and we open this discussion about the life of the holy Imam. You know that he was an Imam only for 6 years. The shortest of all the Imams, 6 years. From Imam from the age of 22 to 28 years old, they say. He was martyred at the age of 28. When you think of 28, that is nothing. But at 22, he became an Imam. 6 years of Imamah. But tonight we're going to talk about this fact. How was his Imamah different than the other Imamats? How the sister mentioned too in poetry. Shaykh Muhammad Baqir as-Sadr has books of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and he has atwar, different levels and different time periods for Imams, and he classifies them. When you see the life of Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, there's one time period. You see the life of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, one time period. Imam Baqir, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, a different time period. You had different conditions of society that resulted in that different reaction that the Imams have. There's a book, the complete human being, the 250-year-old Imam, the 250-year-old man, meaning that the Imams that lived 250 years, all of them were as if one person, but they acted differently according to the situation during that time period. Imam Sadiq, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, taught and had 4,000 narrators, because there was, that allowance, there was that chance from the transition from the Umayyads to from the Abbasids. Imam Sajjad, a different time period, where he would teach people through dua, where he would buy and purchase slaves and train them and free them, and a lot of them became the Shia that Imam Sajjad alayhi salam had. The time period of Imam Hadi and Imam Askari alayhi salam is much different. I believe Imam Askari, maybe from the age of 1, they say he was raised in Samarra. Samarra is what? A protected area, a military zone. Camps are there. Why do you think Samarra was so protected? When you look at the hadith, it says, وَضَعُوا إِنْ الْغَيْبَةِ لِشَيْخِ طُوسِي وَضَعُوا سيوفهم في قتل أهل بيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وإبادة نسله تمعا منهم في الوصول إلى قتل I'm going to change word al-Mahdi. They disdained Allah, the oppressors. They wanted to kill, martyr Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They unsheathed their swords against Ahlul Bayt. Why? What was their purpose? So they can kill Imam Mahdi. So they're waiting for Imam Mahdi. And then it has here, فَأَبَى اللَّهُ أَنْ يَكْشِفَ أَمْرَهُ لِوَاحِدٍ مِنَ الظَّلَمَاءِ. And Allah didn't want His affair to be known to one of the oppressors. So they knew that the son of Al-Askari alayhi salam would be Al-Mahdi. So they gave him even more persecution, more oppression, to a state that they would say when the Shia, they would, Imam Hadi and Imam Askari alayhi salam, is narrated, they would say, don't even point to us when you see us. Don't even point to us. They will identify you as Shia. So during such a time period, how do you think Imam Askari alayhi salam would spread Islam, teach Islam? How can he show that he's the Imam? When he is currently under watch, when people can't even point to him, how do you think that Imam Askari salam would show? One of the ways is knowledge of the unseen. That Imam Askari alayhi salam would use knowledge that he would have, and not conventional knowledge, and he would tell people things inside their hearts that nobody else knew. Very shortly, or letters that people would write to Samarra, he would answer these letters with information that nobody else knew. It is a karama. We don't call this mu'jiza. Mu'jiza means a miracle that is for prophets to establish the prophethood. Karama is something that is not for prophets, but is still a miraculous event. Imam Askari alayhi salam, when you look at knowledge of the unseen being used, some Qutb al-Rawandi in Khara'ij mentions 40, Seyyed Bahrani 134 times, Shaykh al-Amali 136 times, Allama Majlisi 81 occurrences. That Imam Askari alayhi salam is using knowledge of the unseen to be able to show his imamate to people. So a lot of miracles came from Imam Askari alayhi salam. Once they say that Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Ibrahim, they came to visit Imam Askari alayhi salam. Him and his son, they came to visit him. And they go to the Imam, and on the way they say this, just to show you some of the examples of how Imam Askari, the miracles of Imam Askari alayhi salam. He said, it would be good if the Imam would give me some money. They knew Ahlul Bayt were generous. So sometimes people with low iman would visit them just for money, for monetary reasons. Unfortunately, we do this too sometimes. We go to the harams and do ziyarat only for financial purposes, only for fulus, for example. Only for money. We don't ask, you're going to insan al-kamil, you're going to the perfect human being. Ask for knowledge. Ask for perfection. Ask for good salat, for example. Ask for spiritual things. Sometimes you only go for issues of the world. They are important, but there are more important things than this. So he says, I wish that Imam Hassan Askari gave me 500 dirhams.